What's up, guys? You're watching Poots Garage. This week we got something new. It's a little breezy out here, so sorry if there's wind noise on the camera. Hopefully it's not coming through too bad. Day today, we got motorcycles running around. The weather's perfect, a little breeze to keep you cool. It is a great day. So behind me is our new horse in the stable. Nope. This is our new rig for the garage. We got a new Bonnie to our Clyde. No. New wind to our Dancer. Stupid. All right, so I really need you guys' help. I need you to like, comment, and subscribe this video because I just broke my regular camera. Back to the Jeep. All right, so I had to find a nice non-windy spot out here. This is a little nicer here. I'm in this nice little low spot here. Got a beautiful rock cliff up there. We're looking over there. There's all sorts of stuff. The camera blew over in the wind, so the tripod, it flew over, and now it doesn't work, so oh boy. So I bought this beautiful 2024 Jeep Wrangler two-door Rubicon, and this thing is really nice. Now originally I wanted to get a new Ford Bronco, but things just didn't work out right, so we went over to the Jeep dealer instead. So for anybody that doesn't know Jeep so well or is just curious, the Rubicon package is what gives you the big front axle. It gives you lockers front and rear. It gives you a 4-to-1 transfer case. It's got little factory rock sliders. It gives you a ton of skid plates underneath, 33-inch BFG all-terrains, tow hooks, tons of interior upgrades. There's also a sway bar disconnect in there somewhere, and there's all sorts of different things going on. So the Rubicon package is pretty sick. This color is called Anvil. I believe it's a new color for 2024. And then the differences just on 2024 versus previous years, pretty much on any Jeep, is this grille is a lot shorter and it doesn't have the separating bars between the slots. You can see now it's open between the slots. Still 7 slots though. That big 12-inch screen comes standard on all the Jeeps now. The Dana 44 that comes in the rear of these is now a full floating axle, which is different than the semi-float from previous years. And I'm sure I'm missing a ton of other stuff. Under the hood, we did the 3.6 V6. This is just an overhead valve, overhead cam. Pretty tried and true motor, so it should be pretty good. I think she's putting out 285 horsepower, 265 foot-pounds of torque. Pretty good for a small motor. It's pretty peppy driving it around. Backed up behind that, we have the 8-speed automatic transmission. No manual this time. Since it's a 2-door, we don't have a whole lot of storage in the back. Just enough room to hold my camera bag, really. But we can fold the seat down. Gives us a little bit more space if we need it. Now I'm going to take that seat out completely and just leave it in the garage because I don't really need it back here. Then we'll have all sorts of room. So besides getting just the Rubicon package, I didn't add anything else to that. All we got is a hardtop and the automatic transmission. But that Rubicon package by itself comes with so much more stuff that I didn't expect. So I'm really impressed with this thing. All right, we're inside now. Get out of the wind out there. So you can see this is pretty nice in here. We do have the freedom panels, I think they call them, where each side of this can come off. So just the front section of your roof can come off, and you can take the back end of the roof off. Obviously, the doors come off. The windshield still folds down on these. So it's kind of cool that they still have a lot of the old Jeep properties to them. This thing has way more technology than I would ever expect. It's really nice. I wouldn't pay extra for it, to be honest, but since it comes on the Rubicon, which I needed just for, you know, the good drivetrain and all that stuff, you don't really have a choice, so you get it and you deal with it, but it's really nice to have. Let me show you the screens when it starts up here. So it's all push button start. We got little Jeep logos and Rubicon logos, and it says welcome Poot. CarPlay kicks on, kicks me off the phone. So this is what we got here. I mean, there's so much going on here. It's actually really neat. I'm not going to go over everything, but we'll give you a little rundown. I need to make this little entry screen a little shorter. You can program that. So right now I got it set up on OnX apps. So look at that. I got my maps showing up on my screen now, which is super handy. I don't have to have my phone up here all the time. So it leaves my phone open for other things. And then you can access, you know, my Pandora and everything else that's going on here. You've got different screens you can change. You know, you want to open up your Pandora, it opens that all up for you. I guess it's not going to let you open it up too well because it's fighting my CarPlay between recording this video and doing this. So yep, it's working pretty good though. Obviously you have all your settings in here. It's really fancy. You got all your climate control stuff, which I've actually got off right now. It gives you all that stuff there. Left, right, automatic. Turn you off so we don't make wind noises. But the weird thing is we still have manual controls down here. If you just want your buttons, you can push there. But if you like your big screens and fancy stuff, you can have it going there. But usually I have, you know, Pandora and Waze going, which is my navigation app. And then we have like our vehicle settings. Like you have all sorts of controls, you know, your normal stuff that you do. This is off-road pages here too, which is really neat. So these off-road pages show you your vehicle, and it shows your angles and all sorts of weird stuff and what is locked. I've got everything unlocked. I haven't even put this thing in four-wheel drive yet. I haven't really needed it. We got our coordinates, we got altitude, we got all sorts of cool stuff. You know, you can put your gauges up there if you want. You got your pitch and roll. So you got all sorts of fun things. And you can also display all this stuff into this screen here. This screen you can go through all the settings, and you can put most of that stuff over there if you really want. Another surprising thing is this has the adaptive cruise control, which, you know, your cruise control works with the vehicle in front of you. So if it slows down a little bit. So it kind of follows, which is super handy because I've been using cruise control a lot lately just to kind of help my mile per gallons on my truck, and now this thing. So I'm trying to save a few bucks here and there. I believe this thing has 8 speakers in it. There's like one there, one on top of the dash, and then I have the, there's like a factory sound bar deal here, which I think has 2 on each side. The stereo on this thing sucks, I'm not gonna lie. The speakers are very weak, but it's doable, it's usable, it works. Yeah, it's something I'll probably upgrade later on. Our controls down below are pretty fancy also. So obviously we have our ignition 12 volt, we got USB, USB-C, we got auxiliary, that's the normal stuff. Our window motors are in the middle. And then down here, we got the good stuff, the lockers. We got the rear locker, front and rear locker, sway bar disconnect. And then that's the off-road plus, which kind of gives you a couple more features and different things like that. Oh, there's another button up here somewhere. This has the auto start stop, which every time you come to a stop sign, the engine turns off, which is really annoying. So if you want to disable that, you have to turn it off here, but you have to do that every time you start the vehicle. Kind of annoying. So I don't know if it's something I'm just going to get used to, or if it's something I'm going to try and delete later on. Obviously traction control. This here is kind of a cool feature I haven't tried yet. That's the it's like a cruise control for low range. So if you're creeping along at like 1 mile an hour going wheeling or whatever, you can set that and it's like cruise control. And then you can turn your screen off, I guess, if you really want to do that. And then down here behind the shifter, we have 4 auxiliary buttons. Those are pretty cool. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You can wire those up to anything you want. I don't know where the connection points are though for those, if they're under the hood or where they're at, but basically it's pre-wired, and you can actually go into your settings here and you can change if you want them to be like a momentary switch where every time you touch it, it does something, or you touch it, it turns on, touch it, turns off. So it's kind of cool. So you get different things like that. You can also change if you want it to be an ignition source or on all the time. So it's kind of neat how they got these things configured. Obviously we got our transfer case, which is it's a transfer case, 4 high, 4 low, all the good stuff. This has the ultra low though. This has like a 4-to-1, I don't know what they call it, rock something transfer case. Pretty cool. Automatic transmission, pretty basic to use. It's got 2 cup holders, sweet. The back seat also has 2 cup holders back there on the back of the center console here. And it's kind of cool because it's got your USB connection points, it's got USB-C connection points back there, and then it's also got a 120 volt, like a small, what do you call it, inverter or something back there, so you can plug small stuff in. It's nothing crazy, it's like 120 watt or something like that, 100 watt. But there is a lot of manual features. Our rear view mirror doesn't have auto dimming. That's interesting. I kind of figured they would have thrown that in all vehicles nowadays. Both of my last 2 vehicles I bought, I don't buy anything fancy, but they had that. So whatever, I get to flip the little deal on it, just like the old days. The seats are not power, they're all manual controlled seats, which is fine with me because I'm not moving them around all the time. You know, you set it once, set it and forget it. But it does have power mirrors, it's got heated mirrors, it's got the defroster on the back window, no heated seats or anything like that. That's all fancy extra stuff I don't do. There's quite a few little interior lights everywhere. These little LED lights are pretty nice. That's kind of sweet. And we do all the little Easter egg stuff that everybody always talks about. So we got a little Jeep in the corner of the windshield there. I don't know if it's really an Easter egg, but there's a gorilla in the corner here because this has, I guess, what they call Corning Gorilla Glass. It's like a tougher glass that resists shattering or something like that. I think it's what they use these for your phone case screens and different things like that, the screen protectors. So some people say who knows if it's doing anything or not, but it's there. It's got a little gorilla in the corner. Obviously we got Jeep on there. Below the light switch, there's a couple Jeeps on there, a couple 4-door Jeeps on there. We got the old flat fender Jeep on the shift knob. That's kind of cool. On the cowl here, I have the pair of sandals. And then if you look through the drive shaft on the front there, sideways, there's actually a Jeep grill engraved on it. Yeah, if you look around, there's probably more hidden on this thing. Who knows? Things I like. The stickers are pretty cool. Nice, bright, big Rubicon. You got the standard trail rated badge. We got the Jeep logo with the Wrangler and the flag. That's kind of cool. All right, now story time. So about 3 years ago, I was looking at buying the new Ford Bronco when it came out. Really cool rig. I love it. The independent suspension, I was a little skeptical at first, but it would actually be probably beneficial out here like what I'm doing, because I don't plan on extreme wheeling this type of stuff. You just need something to really cruise these rough roads and kind of get into places that you shouldn't go and whatnot. So the IFS would probably work really good to be a little smoother, a little more refined, but it wasn't like a deciding factor. But I like the Broncos, fresh, clean, something new. So I started following them a long time ago, and the Ford supply chain was really screwed up, right? So 3 years ago, I decided to not get one. I didn't want to wait that long, and it actually worked out really good. So instead, I took my money and I bought the Corvette that you see in my videos. And you know, Corvette's been great. So that was my Bronco money. So we bought the Corvette, and that's been like my secondary vehicle that you can drive. I can drive to work once in a while. Just something a little different, something fun, obviously. So, you know, I drive that thing around. So now fast forward 3 years, and now I've moved. I moved from Washington down to here. My plans have changed. All sorts of stuff's happened. I'm kind of glad I didn't get the Bronco, to be honest, at that time, because then I would have been, I would have moved right after, or actually during the process. The Bronco you weren't going to get for at least a year or more. So 3 years later, I decide, okay, I'm getting tired of driving my giant Ram 3500 everywhere. It's got 100,000 miles on it now. I want to like preserve that truck. I don't want to drive it to the ground, you know, and it's not bad for commuting. But anytime I take that thing into the city, it really sucks, like trying to find parking and just whatever. And then when I take it out here into the desert, it's horrible. It's so rough, and it's so stiff, and it's so long and big, and you can't turn around very easy, and you're just bouncing over everything. It's not that enjoyable. Maybe once in a while it'll be fun, but not that enjoyable. So I started thinking, all right, I want kind of a more of a daily commuter type vehicle, but I also want something that's gonna be fun to take out in the desert and stuff like that. So I started looking at stuff again, and I started looking at the Bronco again, and that's kind of where I was going for at first. And then but Ford screwed up their pricing, and they screwed up bad. So the Bronco used to be base model starting off. You used to be able to get a Bronco, $30,000. You add a $5,000 Sasquatch package to it, and that was all I needed. It had everything I wanted. And back then I kind of wanted a manual transmission too, but now, okay, I would have added the automatic transmission, so it would have been a couple $1,000 more. You know, no big deal. You're talking 37,000 plus tax and stuff like that. So I was like, cool, expensive but affordable, especially at the time. Now, come 2024, I was waiting for the 24 models to drop. They got rid of the base model altogether. Not to mention the base model had already gone up. I think $5,000 over the last couple years. You know, they've been jacking their prices up a lot every year. And then 2024 rolls around and they get rid of the base altogether. It's like, thanks, Ford. You got rid of the cheap wheeler that I wanted and so many other people wanted. And now the Sasquatch package is also more. It's like 8,000 something bucks. I'm like, geez, what are you guys doing? So basically, to get the Bronco I want now is like $49,000. That went up a little bit. That's you know, like $15,000 more than what you started a couple years ago. It's like, thanks, Ford. But because of that, then I started realizing Jeep was always kind of my second option. Get a Rubicon. Before, the Bronco was way cheaper than Jeep. Now the Jeep I would get, which is this one, is pretty close to the same price, just a couple $1,000s more. So it's like, So when I went down to the Ford dealer, what, 2 weeks ago now, and I talked to them, I was very uninspired, just to say the least. Obviously, I would still have to order the one I want. The supply chains are still screwed up. At the minimum, we're probably talking 4 to 6 months to get it, you know? So it's like, yeah. And then Ford's just like, I don't know, the salesman just didn't act like he cared, you know? Probably doesn't care to order stuff. I don't know what his problem was. But so I was like, all right, well, thanks. And then you know, it's still an option. And then I went over to the Jeep dealer because they're kind of like my second option. I was like, well, let's go talk to them. They got an actual Jeep in stock that I would probably buy. And well, I didn't last much more than an hour there, and I was driving out with a brand new Jeep. They really wanted the business. They were working with me. They were working with me to get those payments down because payments suck nowadays. Interest rates just ridiculously through the roof, 8%, stuff like that. So they worked with me. I still have a big car payment, but we'll work on that over time here and work on getting this thing paid off quicker than I normally would probably. So that's how we ended up here. Ford basically can't get their supply chain stuff together and can't build them very fast, and they screwed up the pricing. So I went with Jeep, which is the tried and true. Now I know Jeep has a lot of issues with quality control and reliability and stuff like that, and well, so do all new vehicles. You know, it's just a risk now you take. Any new vehicle you buy is just like, it's either gonna be great or you're gonna have all sorts of problems. So who knows? We'll just see what happens. Get back out here in the breeze where it feels good. So that's it. We ended up with a brand new Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. This is something I never thought I would ever buy. I never thought I'd buy a new Jeep. I always made fun of new Jeeps. I was always an old Jeep guy. You know, I had Cherokees and stuff back in the day, back when they were cool, and well, they still are cool, obviously. And yeah, we always made fun of the new Jeep people, and you know, they put ducks on things, which is really odd. I don't do that. Jeep Wave, I can do that. That's old school. But yeah, man, all these Jeep forums, man, people are pretty corny out there. But overall, I've actually been driving this thing out here for, you know, around for probably an hour or so, just kind of cruising around and looking for a better spot to film and whatnot. I am really impressed with this thing. It's going everywhere, and I'm still in two-wheel drive. I haven't needed to even put it in four-wheel drive. Those BFG tires are real grippy, especially out here on this type of stuff. And I've twisted it up pretty good already. I'm pretty sure I lifted a tire back there coming down this hill over the edge there. There was a nice little spot. So, you know, I'll put it through its ringer. But I'm really impressed. I like this thing. It's very comfortable. It's very smooth out here, you know. I'm not disappointed that I didn't get IFS to cruise around on this. This solid axle they got set up under here is so like nice and refined. The suspension is just beautiful out here, so I'm just cruising all over. It's an awesome little vehicle. Actually hold the camera now. And more horses. They are everywhere out here. Excuse me guys, I need to turn left there. Little one. Sure don't seem to mind us much. And we're back. Whew. I'm actually on the good camera. We fixed it. I kind of gave it a little bop on the side after trying to get it to restart, and the lens kind of got itself situated again and went in, went out. We are good. Camera's fixed. So, final thoughts on my new Jeep. That new Jeep is badass. I'm not gonna lie. I really like that thing. It went everywhere I put it. I never even put it in four-wheel drive. Those BFG all-terrains are super grippy out there. So I had all the traction I needed. I did a lot of those little, probably doesn't show up too well on the camera on the drone shots and whatnot, but had some pretty gnarly little hill climb sections, and there were a few areas where I lifted a tire off the ground and whatnot, and it just kept plugging along in two-wheel drive. It never slowed down, so I'm really impressed with that little thing. We're definitely gonna have to try and push its limits a little bit though, just to see what it can really do, but I'm impressed. I like that. So I think it's gonna make a great addition to the garage, and yeah, I think we're gonna be good. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We need all the help we can get as a small YouTube channel. So I will talk to you guys later.